Hello and welcome back to another episode of The Takedown, Jackrabbit Illustrated podcast brought to you by the Kubota dealers of South Dakota. If you need any snow moving equipment, any dirt moving equipment, tractors, side-by-sides, see your local area Kubota dealer. We focus here on South Dakota State Wrestling, and we're joined today with my co-host Jordan Schoenrock and Cody Caldwell. Cody, it's great to have you back. It's been it's been since November 13th that we did one of these podcasts back with Coach Hahn, and a lot has happened since then, so we got a lot to cover. Jordan, why don't we get into it? Kick us off. How you doing, Cody? Sorry, I should ask.
I'm doing great. Thanks, guys, for having me on. As always, it's a pleasure, and I appreciate you guys promoting not just our university, but our sport and all the great things happening. So I'm looking forward to talking some Jackrabbit wrestling with you guys.
That's great. We're glad to have you here, as always. So We'll get started here. So the last time, like we said, was November 13th. So a lot's happened. Did you get to go to the All-Star Classic? Or did you stay back? You went, right?
Yes, I did. I went with TJ, a.k.a. Gritty T, we call him, to the All-Star match, so that's back-to-back years that the Jackrabbits have had individuals at the All-Star Classic. So that's just an awesome honor, for our guys and, Coach Hahn and the way he's moving the program to put guys on that stage, right? And, it was an awesome experience. Tanner Jordan, if you would have told any of us or probably anybody across the country that, he'd be one of the top contenders at the 125-pound weight class, we might have said you're crazy, right? But the way that he's gone about things and developed and built himself into a guy that is, he's an All-American, and now he's knocking on the door to build up upon that podium. And so it was a lot of fun. It was a great experience. He wrestled a familiar opponent in Jory Volk, who he's wrestled a number of times, and he wrestled him for 7th place previously at the national tournament, and he ended up dropping the all-star match. It was competitive, but honestly, we didn't do enough to give ourselves an opportunity to win the match. And Jory had a good game plan, and he was able to kind of stop us where we're good and not even give us an opportunity, from that top position where TJ is such a specimen. So, but with that said, we learned a lot. We came back to the drawing board, and as always, it was an awesome experience. And I'm grateful that TJ was able to be there, and I was able to be a part of it and coach on that stage. And it's a cool event. And now, with NIL and things like that, these kids are able to go to these events and actually make money, which is a cool opportunity for them. And it was a lot of fun. I told Coach Hahn, maybe next year, if we get somebody, maybe send somebody else, because I'm 0-2 there now. I freaking lost with Sloan to Aaron Brooks, and then AJ. More than anything, we talk about the process and learning and growing. And I know, just as Tanner Sloan did, TJ will do the same thing. He'll continue to evolve as a competitor, and you don't pass up an opportunity like that to compete on that stage against a high-level competitor.
Yeah, and those two have went back and forth historically. So, I mean, to expect Sloan to beat Aaron Brooks is maybe a little higher expectation than to see TJ get Jory. But both tough competitors, like you said. We also had we had Cade out there, right? So
yeah. And so Cade was out there as well, and he was a last second entry, right? Like. It was supposed to be Rocco Welch from Ohio State, and he backed out, and they got a hold of us, and we presented the opportunity to Cade, and he's like, absolutely, like, why not? And that's what we preach to our guys. Like, they spend so much time perfecting their craft and getting better and working tirelessly to have the opportunity to compete on that stage is something that we say go take advantage of it, and that's exactly what Cade wanted to do. And on short notice, he went out and he scrapped and he competed against one of the best guys in the country. And it was an opportunity to get his hands on a guy like Levi Haynes. And because they with our schedule and whatnot, they weren't going to see each other again until potentially the national tournament. So looking forward to Cade making those adjustments, and hopefully we get another crack at him here in March.
Yeah, I mean, what an honor to be able to do that, and that's a cool venue, right? I mean,
yeah,
a lot of wrestling fans. They had what? How many people there would you imagine?
Yeah, it was significant. The turnout was great, and talking with Cade, after the match, I'm like, hey, like this is the most difficult atmosphere that you're ever going to wrestle Levi Haynes in, right? Because 90% of the fans are Penn State fans. One, because it's hosted there, and two, they had a lot of guys in the event, and so for him to get that experience and feel is something that is priceless. And Cade's a competitor. I know he wants to win, and he's also a student of the sport, so he's grown, and he'll be better come the next opportunity to wrestle him.
So you talked a little bit about them being able to make money there. So let's jump around here a little bit. Let's go to the national duels and how that went, and then what's your take on the new breaking news that came out the other day about how they're going to pay for your finishing places for that.
That's cool.
Yeah. That's a good segue, Jordan. So national duels. So it was the NWCA national duels that we were at a couple weeks ago, and so it was for non-Power 5, Power 4 conference teams, programs. And so going into the event, I mean, honestly, we were pretty banged up to start. Three of our usual starters were out, with Zach Glazier's been battling an injury that happened at Rider Duels back last month in December. Kobe Seabrick, he was out since Vegas. And then another one was kind of news to all of us. So Drake Rhodes, our 165-pounder, our other Iowa transfer, he woke up on Wednesday morning when we were going to leave, and we had missed calls from him at 2 a.m. that he was on his way to the ER. And, he had appendicitis and had to get surgery. And so it was an unfortunate circumstances. He had the surgery, he's doing well, and all of that, but he's on the mend as well. But just kind of it was kind of like a snowball effect, right? Where a lot of things went not according to plan, but we stressed to our guys to always be ready and to deal with the adversity. And this was a great opportunity for our guys. And we had a couple of tough duels. We had Central Michigan first, and we beat them. I think it was 6-4 matches, closer than expected. Then we had Penn, who has got a solid team as well. And it actually came down to heavyweight, and Luke Rasmussen ended up coming out on top. Wrestled well in that bout. That took us to the next day, where we were in the semifinals against Little Rock, who is has done a great job over there. Neil and Javi have done an awesome job building that program. And I thought probably, of all the duels that we wrestled that weekend, I thought we probably wrestled the best in that duel, just as far as a comprehensive team output standpoint, performance. We win that, and then go into UNI, and UNI has been on fire. We had a close duel with them. Rewind back a few weeks prior, we wrestled them at UNI, and it was a tie match, and they won on number of points scored within the duel. So it was like down the criteria. It was a back and forth match, and so they ended up taking it. But it was a different team that we wrestled them with in the second go around at the national duels, and they put it to us, right? They did. They have a really sound team. They're tough up and down the lineup. They're extremely balanced, and we dropped that duel. And second at the NWCA national duels is a good achievement, good outing. Proud of the way guys battled through some adversity and were able to still go perform. With that said, you always you want more, right? You want more, and so it was a good learning experience. I'm glad that they brought it back, right? In any capacity, right? Would I have loved for all of the Power Four conferences to be there? Absolutely, but they weren't, and we just want to go compete and wrestle, and that was what we were presented with, and we took advantage of the opportunity. And now, Jordan, you bring up the national duels that are going to be coming next year in November, next season in November, and how the sport has changed, right? Payouts for everybody that gets invited is a minimum of $20,000, I believe they're being paid, and then with the top team getting, I think it's $200,000 if I'm not.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, so I mean,
and then second's like 100. So.
Yeah, awesome. I mean, I'm all for it. I think that duels is the way that we grow our sport. I'm a big fan of the duels. I think it from a fan viewership standpoint, it's easier to follow. You sit down, you have 10 weights, you watch them up and down the lineup. There's the team component. It's a lot more difficult. I know kind of the individual NCAA national championships is the crown jewel, right, so to speak. It's always been the mainstay, and it's awesome. I don't think we go away from that, but for the average fan that is coming out to watch, it's tough for them to expect them to sit for 3 days and multiple sessions throughout the day trying to follow different teams and matchups and mat assignments and things like that is tough, right? But the dual aspect is you do have that team component. It's, hey, this team versus this team, and their 10 versus our best 10. Let's get after it. And I think it's going to be a big draw. I'm excited. I'm hopeful that we get an invite. I mean, I think they'll probably make a lot of those decisions after the national tournament, just seeing where teams finish and whatnot. So it's 16 teams, and I guess I'd prefer it to be somewhere other than Tulsa, Oklahoma, just because we spent a lot of time there, just with the Big 12 championships and then nationals a couple of years ago. But regardless, I think it's great for the sport, and I'm looking forward to it taking off and hopefully continuing to grow.
If I'm not mistaken, isn't it an OSU booster that's putting that money up? So
it sure is.
It's going to be hard to peel away from
for sure
the Mock Center if that's the case.
And we totally understand that. And I'm just we're just grateful that it's happening again, right? I mean, it's only going to do good things for the sport, and hopefully continue to bring viewership and be attractive to fans out there, because hey, there's going to be some great early season matchups at that event, and we're hopeful that the Jackrabbits are one of those. So
with that, one thing that I wish, I mean, just my opinion here, is I wish it would happen in about January or February. I mean, I get that you want to get it out of the way before conference, but let's do it at the end of the year when these guys are hitting their strides. Like, for a team like us, we might not. I mean, Damian preaches all the time, we don't need to hit our stride till March. We're learning till March. Like, that was one negative about it that I seen, but a lot of positives coming out of it, and I think it'll be a great deal there.
Yeah, absolutely. And maybe you'll see them change it in the years to follow. I know, I agree. I mean, November 15th or whatever is super early, right? Like,
people are still into football.
Yeah, absolutely. So to
take that into account.
That is so true. And so it'll be interesting to see how it goes this first year. I know, Jordan, they're looking at the conference schedules and things like that. It's like I believe there's got to be another option, another opportunity to do it at a different time, and hopefully we figure it out, right? I think right now wrestling is such a long season, right? I mean, we're starting in November and you don't have the national tournament till end of March. Is there a way that we can condense some things and be able to still have a national duels championship? I think it's possible, right? Do I have all the answers? No, but I think we can make it work and move more towards that to continue to grow our sport.
Circling back a little bit to that purple team. So you're from the area, right? You've got to have some ties with Coach there, and
oh yeah,
kind of know him pretty well. By all accounts, he's a great dude, and that program's really turning a corner there. It feels like, and maybe that's somewhere where we kind of come up together. And NDSU keeps down there.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. Yeah, I mean, I have a lot of respect for those guys. I mean, I wrestled at UNI under Coach Schwab. I was a part of his first recruiting class, so I have a lot of respect for Coach and the things that he's doing. And I mean, he's been there a number of years now, and you know, they're doing some great things. And this is by far the best team that they've ever had, right? I mean, I think I saw yesterday in the latest rankings, dual rankings, they were like 5th in the country, right? And it's rightfully so. I mean, they've I mean, we were their closest duel when we tied them, right? But they still ended up getting that win. You know, they rolled through Nebraska. They're wrestling extremely well right now, and so yeah, I mean, it's obviously I'm a competitor, right? And so I want the Jackrabbits to be on top, but you know, like I said, a lot of respect for those guys and the things they're doing. I mean, they're doing well right now, and so it was good to be back in Cedar Falls. You know, we actually worked out at my high school, so Waverly is like 10, 15 minutes from Cedar Falls. So we were able to get back to my hometown and get our guys some workouts in Waverly, and then go over there and wrestle at the Uni Dome. So yeah, I mean, they're solid right now, and I recognize that, and you know, I want to continue to build this team to greater heights, and if they can move in that direction as well, I think we make each other better, right? I think over the last years, like it's been that we've wrestled them. It's like they beat us, we beat them, they beat us. So, you know, and they got us this year, but we'll get to wrestle them again at the Big 12 tournament from that aspect. And you know, I agree. Like we're similar in the way in which our universities look. So, I mean, the more that we can push each other to new heights, I'm all about it. So,
but you do have the added advantage of what we're seeing in the background, and that I don't want to bag on them on that deal. That's a terrible deal. We don't get into it.
Yeah, for sure.
What is that I'm seeing in the background? So I think I got an idea, but let me know. I ain't seen that before.
Yeah, I'm in our team lounge right now because Damien is in his office. So I'll go this way. But this is it's a hyperbaric chamber.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, so just another resource that our guys are able to utilize for recovery and things like that. I don't really know all the intricacies about it, but yeah, it's guys go in there and you put on an oxygen mask and get recovered, I guess. I don't.
It's supposed to be really good for recovery. I was just going to ask if you'd seen any kind of benefit from it already or not.
I don't know. We have some guys that use it really consistently, but I guess I couldn't tell you. I mean,
that's fair.
Maybe if I jump in there, I'll be Superman or something. But I haven't had a chance to utilize it. So.
Was that new this year, or has that been something we've had for a couple years now?
Yeah, no, we just got it this year. So
I don't remember seeing that when I was.
No, just another. I know it's not the greatest backdrop on this podcast, but
it's fine.
Another amenity. You know, we're truly fortunate with the facility that we have here. I mean, it's crazy to see how far, you know, it's come. Like, you know, I think back to those days. You know, this is my 8th season here, and I think back to those dog days in frost, man. Like where, hey, it's the weather that we have, and we're plugging in space heaters in our wrestling room because the heat doesn't work, and the walls are like sweating just because it's just so cold. And you know, you got walls that don't have wall mats, and the mats are super hard, and it's a dungeon, right? And nobody really wanted to be in there except and nobody was in there unless you were there for practice, right? Now,
sure,
heck, it's you know, 8:20 on a Wednesday, and you know, we've still got guys that are around here. You know, we just finished a team meal. We made some calls for our raffle that we'll be getting into, but you know, it's so much more than a wrestling room. It's a facility, and you know, I can't can't thank the donors that came through. There were a number of them, and our lead donor, being Frank Kurtenbach, because it wouldn't have happened without him. And, on top of that, it wouldn't have happened without Coach Hahn, right? Because he made it a priority. He made promises to recruits, to fans, and he's a man of his word, and he went out and got it done. And, so I'm extremely grateful to be here, and grateful for, our administration who, got behind the movement too as well. And so we're in a good spot.
Yeah. And I mean, it's home now, right? Like,
for sure. 100%.
I desperately wanted to give someone a tour during one of our tailgating. One of my buddies, we were going to take him on a tour. I walked. I don't know if you saw me at all. Maybe you did.
Oh.
Maybe you didn't. Han probably did.
You should.
I walked over the doors. You guys were having a sit down, like in the middle of the mats, talking to everybody. I'm like,
no.
Not now.
Well,
Not
you
now.
just shot me a text. I would have.
That's fine. It's no big deal. Next year we'll do that.
We want people to get in here and check it out.
I was going to say it's an amazing facility. Hook up with the staff, and they'll get you in there if you haven't seen it yet. It's pretty darn cool. I think you guys are pretty busy during the football season, but you always seem to make time for everybody. So we do appreciate that.
We couldn't do it. We couldn't do it without everyone. Like it's taken an army. So we're fortunate to be in a place like South Dakota State that supports their athletic programs, and let's keep moving out.
So we talked about the facility there for a minute.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the new shiny piece that we got, or that you guys got to debut in this year here in First Bank and Trust Arena. How's that wrestling in there compared to Frost Arena?
Oh, it's awesome. It's nice with, like exactly what you said, Jordan, the nice shiny thing, right? Like things are newer. It's nicer. The technology is better. Maybe it's more comfortable and things like that. But it's about the people, right? And the people inside that building that make First Bank, Frost, the arena in which we compete in. It's about the people, and we have great fans, great supporters that come out and cheer extensively for the Jackrabbits, and our guys feel supported, and that really gives them the energy to go out and put out their best performance. And so, it's awesome. It's great. You just see the investment into athletics that this university has made, and it's something that we're extremely proud of, and we want to represent accordingly when we step on the mat in that arena. And whether it's Frost, First Bank and Trust, right? Like it's those people, and we're grateful every time that we have the opportunity to step on the mat.
So the next time to see them step on the mat will be here in a couple of weeks. You have Utah Valley coming in on the 31st.
Yep.
And then Wyoming on the February 1st.
Yep.
Which would be a Friday, Saturday, right?
Yeah.
Friday, Saturday.
Yep. Friday, Saturday. And so we have this week off, which has been, nice. Just, we've been go at it since November. And so to have a weekend to kind of move guys to a more healthy state, refocus, re-energize, and, there was some sickness going around, and finally we're pushing through, and to have a week just to kind of get better and recover and put ourselves in a position so that we're ready to finish the second half of the season strong. It's Big 12 duels from here on out, and we have some real quality opponents coming to town. And we start next Friday with Utah Valley, and then Wyoming the following day, and both teams have some very sound individuals. And I'm excited to see where we're at. I'm more excited just to be back with our fans, right? Like I've ran into some people throughout the community, and they're like, when are you guys going to be back home? It feels like it's been ages. And I agree. Like it's been a long time, and just the way that the scheduling worked out and whatnot, it is what it is. But we're fortunate and grateful to be back home, from here until we wrestle NDSU. So we're 3 weeks in a row at home. And so, we'll have those two teams next week. The following week we'll have Northern Colorado, and then the following week we'll have Iowa State at home with our one of our toughest tests, of the season. So it's crazy that we've got five duels left. It's gone fast, but we talk about March, and hey, we're getting close, and we'll be where we need to be come that point in the season.
You talked a little bit about Iowa State, and I just want to put out, we're going to definitely have a podcast before that, but
I hope so, Chad.
Yeah, sorry. If you don't get a chance to catch anyone before then, make sure you get to that, because that is a team to line well with, I think.
I agree.
And I think that's something that we can pull off, and the crowd always helps make a difference, I feel like. So make sure we show up in force. It's unfortunate, but we end up getting fans from the other teams sometimes when we wrestle these big schools,
right?
And I find it a little bit obnoxious as a Jackrabbit fan when their guys are up in the stands signing autographs, but being in who it was, I wasn't too upset. It was kind of a cool thing for that guy to do that, but I still don't like it.
I hear you.
As a fan, I don't like it. As a fan of wrestling, I do like it, but
absolutely.
Yeah, and then now I completely lost my train of thought.
But I mean, Iowa State will be it'll be a big duel, a great test for our guys, and any opportunity that we're able to have our fans and support staff, these guys feed off of it. They love it. They love being at First Bank and Trust. They love being in front of their home crowd. So, that support is greatly appreciated. It's something that sets us apart, right? Because we have been these last couple of weeks, we've gone to some places that, hey, you look up in the stands and there's 100 people, right? And it's tough to get excited for, right? And it just makes us that much more grateful for the support we have here, and you guys make it. So so these next 3 weeks, get out to First Bank and Trust. We've got some giveaways. I think we've got a hat giveaway. I don't know off the top of my head. I know we have a hat giveaway. We have military appreciation and a couple other things. So just be on the lookout as far as your emails and your social media for those kind of giveaways and things like that. But we'll have some different promotions, and we're looking forward to putting out a product on the mat that you guys can get excited for.
Also, I'll add quick here with that's racing season, unfortunately for me, so I'll not be in attendance. But once again, I got my 4-season tickets. If you're listening, anybody listening tonight, you want them, message me, DM me, and we'll see if I can give them away to you here, because I want to help support and make sure people get in the stands.
Or if you don't know how to get a hold of Jordan, get a hold of me, and I'll get a hold of Jordan. That'll work too.
Yep.
So, a couple of things I'm curious about. One is, and so I got a couple of things, and I'll let you talk. I want to know a little bit about some of these up-and-comers that we have in our lineup now, not just, the guys, but not excluding the guys that come over from Iowa. I want to know about how that's going. I know we got a familiar name that had a brother wrestle here. We got a local kid that, he's kind of newish too. Just have you talk a little bit about their matches and maybe some highlights for those guys, and then we'll just start there.
All right, Chad. So as far as so are you talking like young guys or guys like?
Yeah, I mean guys that are newer to the lineup this year.
Yeah,
Colin. Maybe Julian a bit.
Yeah, for sure. I mean,
Brass has been wrestling his ass off, in my opinion.
Definitely, he's having the best season he's had. So I mean, we do have some new faces. I think half the starting lineup is new faces, which is different than previous years. I feel like we've kind of seen like the same guys for the last like 2 to 3 years. With the Sloans and the Clay Carlsons and the Swenson's. It's been pretty consistent, but some new faces. I mean, you up and down the lineup. At 141, Julian Tagg. He's kind of he's been on a roll a little bit lately. He's at 141. So his brother Gabe Tagg came here. They both transferred from North Carolina. Julian just came a little bit later and was just enrolled in school. He wasn't on the team, wasn't sure kind of the path in which he was going to go. And actually this year is the first year that he's been like a rostered athlete. And, it's been good to see. We've always known that he can wrestle, but he's enjoying it, right? He's happy. He's in a good headspace where he's enjoying what he's doing with the people in which he's doing it with. And I think it's been quite some time since he's felt that. And I could be speaking out of turn for him, but he's extremely talented and a guy that has really come on as of late. He's one that is extremely technical. He's slick. He's got a lot of tools and attributes that help him to score a lot of points. And he's beaten multiple quality opponents. I mean, just to note, he's beaten Cale Happel from UNI. He split matches with him. He beat the Penn kid, was a top 10 kid. Like he's right there. And if we continue to push him in the right direction and keep him happy and healthy, he's gonna really turn some heads come March. And moving up to that 149-pound weight class, we've kind of had two guys in the lineup, Colin Dupill and Avery Allen. We're still a little bit uncertain as to who the guy is, to be honest with you. We feel like both of them have done some good things in at different times, and both of them have beaten guys that have beaten the other guy. So there hasn't been like a clear cut, oh man, this is the guy that we're going with. And so, I'd look for these next duels. We're going to wrestle guys based more so on matchups, right? Like what's the best matchup for a particular guy and see how they compete. Right. And, they've both done well. They're both young. They're redshirt freshmen, still learning. And I think the more that they compete, the better they'll become. And so, Colin Dupill, he's been a number of different places from in high school. His family moved around a lot as far as his dad was military, and but he came to South Dakota State, loved the community, loved the values in which we stand for, and his brother followed him along. So his brother is not out of high school yet, but his brother's actually been wrestling some different college events, just in entering himself and wrestling, and really doing well for himself. So he's one that will be on the roster next year, and they're good to have around. And then Avery Allen is Montana boy, and he's started the year at 141 and has gone up, and I feel like it's been the best move. He was kind of more so coming in every day trying to cut weight rather than get better at wrestling, and so he still growing into the weight class, but the kid is very talented and has a lot to offer. So moving up, again, 157, Cale Swenson has been a staple, and he's a guy that we miss, not from from a wrestling standpoint, because he's a really good wrestler, but just the intensity and from an entertainment level. Like he's a guy that what you're going to get every time he steps on the mat. He'll fight to the bitter end. He's a competitor. He's sometimes a little bit emotional, but reining that in and pushing him to utilize that to score a bunch of points. And I know he is hurting not being able to compete, but he has been an awesome teammate throughout the process. We take him everywhere. He's one that is the first guy to grab a kid if he has a loss or things like that. He's picking him up, and that's what you need. You need guys like that have a vested interest in the program, and really excited to see him, get back to wrestling and showing what he can do. But in the meantime, we've had a couple different guys. So obviously the easy one is Kobe Siebrecht, who came from Iowa, and he dealt with some injuries, right? I mean, he got banged up out at Cliff Keen, and since has worked back, and it was nice to see him wrestle this last weekend. He wrestled two matches out, Cal Baptist and Air Force, and really was dominant and wrestled well. So excited for him to kind of get back to his old self. He's one that's electric, that can score a lot of points and big move guy, but we haven't seen that yet. And, there's no better time than now. The other guy is Moses Espinoza Owens, so one of our twins. Marcus is his brother, and Moses is a guy who he's out of Utah, and he's another redshirt freshman, young kid. He's one that continues to get better every time out, right? He needs to compete. He needs to get out and learn, right? That's how we get better. And so this past weekend, we sent him to Iowa State. He wrestled. He ended up getting third at the event at the Cyclone Open. He lost to Cody Chittum out of Iowa State 4-1, a last-second takedown. So he's moving in the right direction. The more that he competes. 65 as far as another new guy, another Iowa transfer, Drake Rhodes. And that guy has just been an absolute treat to have in the lineup as far as the way in which he approaches competition. Like he is offensive. He's going to fight. He's going to wrestle hard for 7 minutes. Like that's the type of competitor he is. And honestly, he is really thriving within our program and the way in which we do things, just because he's never been the guy. He's never been like the starter. And, he is right now. And, I think I saw he's like 15-3. He's ranked top 10 in some polls. Like he's beaten some really good kids. And, it's funny, thing about Drake. So like when he first got here, he didn't really know what to expect. I mean, honestly, he came here and he kind of just showed up. Like it was along with those other guys, but we didn't really even know who Drake Rhodes was, to be honest. And, he shows up and, we a couple times a week before practice, we'll play games. And like the first time that we played a game to warm up, it was like, he had the biggest smile on his face. He was like a kid in a candy store. Like he had never done this before. And so he's really, molded himself into our program and the way in which we do things, and he's taken off. And so we're excited to get him back here. Probably won't be next week, but we'll see about the weeks after. But a guy who has stepped in and done extremely well is Marcus Espinoza Owens, another one of the twins. And that dude is a competitor, man. He's strong. He's powerful. He wrestles hard. He wrestles at pace, and a guy that you can't be disappointed in putting on the mat. And he's doing extremely well for us, and we're grateful to have those guys on our team. 74, 84 have been staples. Those are guys that are back. Zach Glazier, we talked about him coming back from an injury. So there's a potential you see him next week. Maybe not, but hopefully here soon. He, it's been good. The kind of the different perspective and outlook on wrestling that these guys from Iowa have brought, right? Because we do run our program different than the Hawkeyes, which is fine, right? Everybody does things a little bit different, and so it's been a good challenge for us to, especially with 6-year guys, right? They've been doing something a certain way for so long, and to change is hard sometimes, and so being able to try to help mold them into our system while also not losing what made them good in the first place. And, they've dealt with some injuries, which is unfortunate, but I still believe that they'll be their best when it matters most. And that's coming up here and not too long at all. Then the last other guy that's in there at 97 that's been wrestling and wrestles well is Thomas Deneen. He's a guy that he's a redshirt freshman as well. So a lot of these guys are young guys, but he's a competitor. He coming from Benson, Minnesota. He was a 3-sport athlete. Like he's never really devoted this much time to one particular sport. And so he's still getting better. He's still learning how to wrestle. And I think this year has been great for him to continue to develop and learn wrestling. And, and he's a guy that you never know when your opportunity will come. And, it's now. So let's get to work. And then the last one, Luke Raz, you guys mentioned him, a hometown boy. I agree. I don't know if it's Chad that said it, but he's wrestling the best he's wrestled right now. More consistent. He still drives me crazy sometimes when he does some silly things like throw himself to his back or give up a silly reversal. We still have to be on him about that, but he's a guy that you love him. He's getting better. He listens. You may have to tell him 5, 6, 7 times, but he will make the adjustments, and he's got a unique style, right? He's a threat. He can scramble well. He's a threat on the mat, and one that continues to get better. So, but
I think it's fair to call him a less than standard heavyweight. Like he wrestles a little different style, like you're saying. And maybe is he still putting on some weight? Or are we still working, maybe getting him a little bigger? Because he started out the season a little undersized. I mean, it's just kind of where he is.
I think he's making headway. It's not easy with him, like
in season.
Hey, they tell us to, hey, put on 10 pounds. Say, okay, that's not that difficult, but for him, it hasn't been an easy process, and he's got the personality where, hey, he'll just like forget to eat or something like that. So it's like you have to stay on.
I wish I had that problem.
Yeah, I know.
Forget to eat. If I don't eat, it's on purpose.
Yeah, I know. So, he's getting bigger. He's being more disciplined. And the biggest thing with him is consistency. And, in all areas of his life, whether it's academics, wrestling, any of it. And he's moving in the right direction, right? And we need to continue to move him in the right direction, because at any point, as we know, we're dealing with 20-year-old kids. They may deviate, and we need to help set them back on the path as best we can. And he's one that's getting better, and it's been fun, right? I still want to pull my hair out that I don't have at times, but he's doing well. So
sometimes as a coach, you're lucky to have those student coaches, right? You know what I'm talking about? And the guys that are kind of like a coach in the room or on the field, whatever. And you guys were fortunate enough, or we're fortunate enough, however you want to see it, but to have one of them guys come back. How's that been working out this year with the our favorite piano player?
It's been awesome. I mean, Clay's been doing a phenomenal job. I mean, he for so long he has been kind of the figurehead of Jackrabbit wrestling, right? And not just because he won a lot, but because the way in which he lives his life. Like, he's a great leader. He's a hard worker. He's extremely disciplined. He's a good person. He has high character. He's the ideal individual that you want to be a representative of your program. And he's done just that. It's been really fun to see him continue to grow as a coach, because, it's tough sometimes, right? When you graduate, right, and then you're coaching all these kids that were on the same team as you. And so I think it helps that, especially in his later years, like he was in a different place in his life. Like, he's married. He took his academics extremely seriously. He, did these things. And so they already kind of looked at him as maybe kind of like the old grandpa, so to speak. But he's a guy that he lives Jackrabbit wrestling and the characteristics and values in which we stand for. And he's been a great addition. I can't say enough positive things about him. And he's expecting his first child, so that's exciting as well. But he's going to be a great father, just as he is a coach. And so we're absolutely thrilled to have him, and also to be able to still, Brady is still around the program and whatnot, and have him be able to mentor some of these guys and whatnot has been something that's been valuable as well.
Sure. And it's nice to have those little bit lighter guys to be able to do some goes with those guys. Cause yourself and Cam are kind of in that 197 range. I'm going to throw that out there. Not to guess your weight or anything.
They're getting old. They're getting old too.
We're getting old and slow. So yeah,
I bet Jordan, if you wanted to take on Damien, he'd give you a go.
No, thank you.
Hey, Damien will still get in there and scrap. So
I know he will. I know. I would not.
I saw him down there this morning, so he still laces them up, and he still gets after it. So yeah, I mean, it's wrestling is such a unique sport, right? Like, coaches, are able to get on the mat and actually do the sport in which they're coaching with the kids. So to be able to get that feel and I think is something else that can greatly benefit, the student athlete. And so to have those smaller guys, I mean, me and Cam will roll around with the little guys as well, especially when we need a breather from those upper weights. But it's definitely a different feel that they're able to give, so that they're prepared once they step on the mat, that they've wrestled the different styles and things of that nature. So it's awesome to have those guys around.
So as we look down here on the bottom of the screen, it's now going presented by Cubby Sports Bar and Grill. So I think that'd be the perfect transition into the raffle here. Let's talk about that a little bit.
You have been on it with the transitions, Jordan. I love it. So we have our raffle and silent auction. It's for our Jackrabbit Wrestling Club, which is taking place Saturday, February 8th. So Saturday, February 8th at the 9 Bar, which is right next to Cubby's. It's 4 to 8 p.m. All you can eat, complimentary drinks. We're not supposed to say all you can drink just because it might get out of hand, but complimentary drinks and food and, a chance to win $10,000. So you can buy a raffle ticket. They're $250 a piece. That's for you and a guest. All you can eat, all you can drink from 4 to 8 p.m. at the 9 Bar on Saturday, February 8th. With that, there's some different sponsorship levels. There's a silver and a gold, which, able to kind of, let them, be able to display their different businesses and things like that. And you get raffle tickets with that. And so all of it is on the jackrabbitwrestlingclub.com. You can search under events and the raffle. And so, even if you're not able to be present, you're still able to be in the drawing. So basically, we're only selling 200 tickets, and there you go. Thank you for posting that link. So we're only selling 200 tickets, and so with that, we throughout the night 4 to 8, we're drawing numbers until the last number that is, and everybody will get some type of gift, whether it's a hat or a cooler, or there are some little things like that. With the last number being drawn being $10,000, and so. It's an awesome event, a great social. We'll have our guys there throughout the night, so you're able to socialize and mingle. And, all of these proceeds help the Jackrabbit Wrestling Club, which, is our regional training center, which provides transportation, registration fees, supplements our budget, is able to bring in coaches to help these kids continue to grow and elevate their game. I mean, as far as we've taken guys all over the world, right? Like, for different age level world championships, Pan American Games, that none of that is coming out of our student athletes' pocket. Like the Jackrabbit Wrestling Club covers all of that. And so that is why we have, these events like this to better help and supply funding to make those things possible, because we need those things in order to continue to move this program in the right direction.
So Brock Gulseth asks a question. He says, how challenging has it been with the injuries, sickness that's been going through the room, also being on the road a ton for the last month and a half? Wanted to point out he got his call from Swenson tonight. He's excited about that and tells everybody to get their tickets. He's a good supporter.
For sure. I appreciate that, Brock. You're the man. Love your support and passion for Jackrabbit Athletics and Jackrabbit Wrestling. So shout out to Brock. He's awesome. So and as far as the answer to your question, it has been extremely difficult, right? Like we've been on the road a lot, and with that, you're dealing with college kids too, right? That are trying to go to class, they're trying to take finals, they're trying to manage that workload while also being gone for 4 or 5, 6 days on the road, and so it's definitely something that we've had to adjust with our training and kind of our preparation, just more on an individual basis, right? Like if we have guys that are feeling under the weather or things like that, being able to, hey, rest, sleep, recover, but also like, hey, maybe if they're feeling a little out of it, they're going at a different time, right? So that they can continue to train, but try not to get everybody else sick. And but there is no real supplement for rest and recovery. We preach it to our guys, and rest, recovery, nutrition, all of those things are of high importance to us, right? It does us no good to drill a kid into the ground while he's feeling like absolute, just terrible. Like it doesn't help. And so we don't have the magic formula, so to speak, but we try to be in tune with how our guys are feeling and how, the point in the year and kind of the things that are going around to put them in a position where they're able to feel their best when they compete. And, a lot of the times that's pulling back a little bit, and it kind of changes on an individual basis. And fortunately, we're in a sport where, hey, like if our 25 pounder may need something different than our 65 pounder, and we're able to cater to those needs. Does it put more work on us as a staff? Yeah, but that's what we're here to do. And I think that's how we continue to put ourselves as a top 15 program, is being able to individualize things while also moving the entire team in the same direction. And so, hopefully we're on the tail end of things and can get that out of our system before the championship season starts.
Sorry, I had myself muted there.
I was going to say you're muted, dude. But I was muted, so I couldn't say that. Sorry.
So, Chad, if you want to pull up Matt's comment here, we'll address that a little bit here. So anybody that knows Damien has said many times, or has heard Damien say many times, he's here to build a powerhouse and everything like that. So Matt has a question here. Do you see SDSU being a top 5 team in the next few years?
That's a great question. And, that is what we're striving to do, right? That is what we're working to do every day, whether it's from a recruiting standpoint, a development standpoint. And you know what? Now more than ever, I won't lie to you, being a top 5 team is extremely difficult, right? With the way in which things are, right? You talk about NIL, you talk about transfer portal, the money that is being thrown around, and we're peanuts compared to football, right? But still, I mean, it's happening, and it's something that we have to deal with on an annual basis, right? You go to the national tournament, you have a great national tournament, you can't even celebrate that without being concerned of who is going to try to take that kid off of your roster, right? Because there are people out there that are literally looking through rosters and saying, oh, hey, could we have this one? Could we have this one? Could we have this one? And almost utilizing mid-major programs as feeder programs for these bigger schools. And, to combat that, we try to develop a strong culture, right? We try to show these kids that they're loved and appreciated. That's not to say that we won't ever have kids leave, because it happens, but we haven't had many. And at South Dakota State Wrestling, it's a situation where people are, the guys on our team, they love being Jackrabbits. They love wrestling for South Dakota State University. They love the community. They love kind of being sometimes that underdog mentality a little bit, like, hey, I'm going to go show you, like, watch what we can do. And as far as being a top 5 program, do I think we have the ability to do that? Absolutely. I do for sure, because I've seen the kids in which we have in that room and the recruits that we have coming in. That's what we're striving to do. And I'd be foolish to sit here and say, yes, 2 years, we're going to be a top 5 program, but I'm going to tell you that is what we are continually striving to do. And the support here is unmatched, and we need to continue to move in that direction, bring the right kids in, keep our kids here, and keep this train rolling, because we're in a good spot. Being 12th last year, we're looking to climb those ranks, but it starts with, one, we got to keep our own kids here, and two, bringing in the right kids and making them feel a part of something that's bigger than themselves. And I think we're on track to do just that.
Yeah, I think that's where relationships really matter, and I know you're great at fostering relationships, as is Cam and Coach Hahn, and we've got the pleasure to speak with all of them. But we did touch a little bit on NIL.
Yeah.
Do you know anything about the Jacked NIL as I understand it, so just maybe correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Somebody could go in and donate specifically to the wrestling program through that. That's my understanding. Is that kind of what you've heard or understand?
And to be honest with you, I'm not extremely familiar with it right as of right now. It's
new, so I'm not either. I
sure.
just didn't know if you knew.
As far as wrestling's a little bit different, I guess, because like we have and I'm not saying you can't do that, go in and support wrestling in that manner, but the best way in which, as far as with us to support us is our Jackrabbit Wrestling Club Regional Training Center. So that's the best way to support our team, our program, because those go straight back to the program and those involved in it. So I have heard some rumblings about the Jack NIL, and it sounds like it's going to be awesome. And I'd love to speak on it once I have some more information. But yeah,
sorry to put you on the spot there, but
all good.
I think you're right about
I probably should know more about it, but
I think you're right about the Jackrabbit Wrestling Club being the best way. I mean, it gets our guys more opportunities to go out and wrestle, which the best way to get better at wrestling is to wrestle more, right, and compete. And you only get so many opportunities when you're at a collegiate level. I mean, there's not a lot of opportunities, so our guys need to get out on the mat, and being able to do some of the things that we've done in the past with the USA Wrestling around the world is pretty unique. And we don't get to see Tanner Sloan go over and wrestle in where was he again? Over in
Estonia.
Thank you. Yeah,
one of Jordan's first articles back in the day.
Yep.
Yeah, we don't get to see that kind of cool stuff and see him compete and win those kind of things if it's not for the Jackrabbit Wrestling Club. So
for sure,
that's why it's great to go get those tickets. That $250 goes a long ways. I know you guys got tons of sponsors that provide some of them gifts. And Gus with Cubbies because they're together, do a great job hosting that event.
Yeah, they've been great to us. I mean, we truly are grateful for Cubbies and their continued support of wrestling and all athletics programs. They're the best, and continue to show them business as well.
With that raffle thing here, quick. Another question with that is: have we always limited that to 200?
Yes.
Or is that something new?
Yes, we've always limited it to 200 tickets.
So do we usually sell out on that? Do people need to get on the ball of getting them?
Yeah. It has once it starts to get to that crunch time near the once we start hitting February, those tickets are slim to come by, and we will never turn away people's money, but to get into the drawing for that $10,000, we'll limit it to part of the draw is that there's only 200 tickets, right? So that's something that we'll continue to do. I appreciate you guys having me on. This has been fun. I always enjoy talking wrestling with you guys. So
I was just gonna say thanks for your time. We really appreciate it. I know you got a family to get back to, and you're busy all the other time, and you always make time for us, and we surely appreciate that. So folks, go out and support Jackrabbit Wrestling Club, and I think with that we'll do just our standard: go big, go blue, go
Jacks.